Hello. So, I'm on Wildcard 6 this game week. So I thought I'd make a Wildcard 6 video. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. So at the start of the week, when I thought about Wildcard 6, the team actually kind of almost picked itself. I thought it was going to be a really template, really easy thing. And then the longer the week's gone on, the more questions I've been asking, and I've got myself into a big old hole now, so I don't really know what I'm doing. Originally, it was going to be Dubravka, probably Raya, maybe Pope, something like that. I had like Lacroix, Tarkowski, Senesi, Van Dijk, Rodon in defence. Bruno, Semenyo locked, probably Xhaka in there as well. I like Xhaka. Then it was going to be Haaland, Gyökeres and Pedro up front. I really just had like 2 or 3 spots, maybe not Xhaka, but 2 or 3 spots here left, like 2 5 mils and like a 6 7 mil player, and that was all I had. And it just kind of picked itself, and I like the 5 mil spot, so I was thinking, well, that's good, and I'll just do a little rotation with these 3. It all clicked into place, felt quite nice. But then the more I've been thinking about it, the more I'm getting myself in knots. So these are the players that I think are locked. Nobody's 100%, but these are like the 99% probably. You know, Dubravka, obviously, 4 mil keeper. Senesi, locked. Yeah, all of these are locked. One of the questions I started having that was, causing me problems was the defence. How much money to put in defence? Do you go premium defence or cheap defence? Originally, I just went premium, just thinking, let's go DEFCON all the way. But then there's this question of like, well, later in the season, if I need more money up front for whatever reason, if I want to get Saka, Palmer, Isaac, whatever, it's very hard to unpick that money when you spread it around your defence. 1 million here, 500,000 there. You don't want to have to make 5 little mini downgrades to fish your 5 mil back out in order to upgrade somebody up here. So your defence is kind of locked. Whatever I go with is going to be locked probably until when I next wildcard, game week 32, something like that. And you don't often make goalkeeper changes. You don't really want to change that. I mean, you can make downgrades. It's not the end of the world in your defence, but it's not ideal. It's not really done very often. So that question was challenging me, and I was thinking, so do I go Lacroix, Tarkowski and Van Dijk and Senesi and Rodon, or even more, or do I downgrade it to, instead of going Lacroix, go for Richards, instead of going for Van Dijk, go down to an Anderson. Maybe I can go right down to a 4 mil Aldrete, Mukiele, whatever their names are. Go really cheap. And I don't even have to go Raya. I could go potentially just play Dubravka, put another 4.0. I could go really cheap there. And then I could get maybe Saka, maybe Isaac, maybe Palmer. Maybe get Mbommo in there, all this kind of stuff. So I was thinking of that. And the answer I've come to at the moment is at first I thought, yeah, I should probably do that because it's for the whole season. I don't want to be locked in an expensive, it's a big decision to make for like the big chunk of the season. I don't want to be locked in to an expensive defence. So I thought, yeah, I'll probably just go downgrade. But then I started kind of making compromises and getting somewhere in between. Where to start? Well, I'll show you this. This is just some rough numbers I was doing. I've been kind of busy this week, so I haven't really had a chance to properly look. These are just rough numbers, and I kind of looked at... so whether I go expensive or cheap, I'm going to have Dubravka, Senesi and Rodon probably in both drafts because I just think they're good value for money. They're good picks. But the other 4, I can either go Raya, Van Dijk, Tarkowski, Lacroix, or I can go super cheap and go for Dubravka, Anderson, Richards, and then Steve or some 4 mil keeper. This is just an example. That's how many points. Hang on. Sorry, I buggered something up there. 1 sec. Sorry, I had it set to 4 game weeks, and I want it set from game week 6 to game week 31. That's how I originally set it. So during that period, those 4 expensive players are predicted to get about 521 points and cost 22.2 million. The cheaper players get about 434 points, 17 million. So basically, I can save about 5 million by going for the cheap defenders, but it's going to cost me nearly 90 points, 87 points. And then you ask yourself, well, how much could that 5 million make me in an upgrade. If I just did one upgrade, and these are the kind of these 5 to 6 mil players that I'm kind of looking at, and I could upgrade one of these to like a Cole Palmer. If we assume Cole Palmer's playing every game, this is assuming every player's playing every game, starts every game. Yeah, pretty much. If we go from one of these players up to a Cole Palmer, you've got like, you can spend that money. It's about 5 million you're spending, but you're only making about 23 points back, up to about maybe 53 points back. If my model is correct, which, you know, it's just a rough guide, it might not be. But so basically, in that example, you're not really making the money back. So you may as well go for the expensive defense, because you got to make up 90 points for your to get your 5 mil back. That one you're not really making it back. In this one with Saka, you got a little bit of money left in the bank in some of these, but still you're not really making it back with Saka. Yeah, so you're not really making it back with Saka either. I did just think, well, what if I don't go all the way to a super cheap defense and just go kind of half-hearted and just go to like Nick Pope instead of Raya and go to Diakate, because my model likes Diakate, which actually I've changed his numbers a bit now, but my model did like Diakate. Anderson, Richards. So now you're saving 3.7 million, but you're losing 50 points rather than 87 points. If I spend that 3.7 million to upgrade one of these, I can't get to a Saka or Palmer anymore, but I can get to one of these 8 mil players like an Mbomo. And this is like an extreme example, because Mbomo, this is being very generous with the numbers, because my model likes Mbomo, it likes Diakate. So then, if I spend that money, I can almost get that 50 points back. But then even then, it doesn't. Like the biggest jump is Xhaka, which apparently my model doesn't like, but I like Xhaka. That's the biggest jump. I can maybe claw that 50 points back with a bit of money in the bank as well. So this is basically, that's the closest I've got to trying to figure out whether it's worth downgrading my expensive defense for the sake of upgrading one of these cheaper players to a premium player, to one more premium player. And at the moment, based on those numbers, it kind of seems like it isn't. It kind of seems like, actually, no, don't scrimp and save on your defense. It might be worth sticking to the big hitters. Now, that's just how the numbers are coming out at the moment, but whether I trust those numbers and all that kind of stuff is like, it's another question. I did do this at the start of the season, where I tried to squeeze in Verts, and I downgraded Ekitike down to Fulkrug, and I think I did some downgrades in defence just so that I could afford Verts, so I could do one of these upgrades. And that went like horribly. But then that's not necessarily an example that the principle is wrong. In principle, it might just be the way I employed it. I just chose badly, because Ekitike was good, but I don't know, Fulkrug and Verts I just chose badly. But yeah, the principle, so yeah, that's just in the back of my mind, kind of putting me off as well. So this instinct to kind of save, because this is what you do. You build a wild card, and then you start kind of thinking, well, where can I save? You start trying to get money here, there, and everywhere, and then seeing if you can upgrade somewhere. And I've got like 100 different instincts inside me, and it's like, well, which is the instinct I should go with? Because sometimes you got your initial instinct, but then can you always trust those? Like, for instance, Lacroix and Richards. My initial instincts, I had the new shiny toy feel with Lacroix. He felt like he was the DEFCON god. Get Lacroix in, he's the one. But the reason why I didn't like Richards was because last season his start rate was 75%. So he was starting 3 out of every 4 games last season. And I thought, so why are people going for Richards? He's a minutes risk. But I think, from what I've looked at, Chalobah used to play for Crystal Palace last season. And I think there was a period where he was starting over Richards. But then once he left, then Richards started every game. And I thought maybe they played 2 at the back sometimes, and that's why Richard got missed out. But I don't think they did. Double check this, but when I looked at SofaScore, it was 3 at the back every game. Richard starting every game pretty much. Sometimes he missed one because he got a red card or an injury or something, but generally Richards looks pretty nailed. So Richards looks pretty nailed. DEFCON wise, he is somewhere here. Let's see if we can find him. So he's quite high up there. He is on 58%. That's my prediction of him. He'll be returning at about almost 60%. Last season it was 42%. Just based on this is CBITs converted to a percentage prediction. Basically, he's doing well. Where's Lacroix? Let's find him. Not you. There he is. So he's on about the same percent as well, 56%. So 10.2. I was literally just a few above. 10.2 and 10.4. They're averaging per start. This isn't per 90. This is per start. So it's got minutes per start incorporated into it. So he's good for Defcons, Richards, and he seems pretty nailed. And my model has him. Let's sort it quick. My model has him pretty high. Let's have a look at the defenders. One sec. So Richards is I've got too many names. So he's actually quite high. So he's quite high there. Yeah, he looks good. So I like Richards. I've also got this metric, this kind of value metric that I've been playing with. I mentioned it last game week. It's not just points per million. It's points per million on a graded scale. So it's not, the line is slightly slanted, which is me just messing around with it. But I just think it might be slightly more accurate. And the point is, the higher the numbers here, the better value I think they probably are, these players. And Chris Richards is one of the highest. Him and Senesi are the two highest. So Richards basically is one downgrade that I'm willing to make, is the point there. And I think I just need to, I still have this weird feeling with Richards of like, I would prefer to have Lacroix, that feeling of nice new shiny toy Lacroix, whereas Richards is like minutes risk, not as good. And I think I need to kind of challenge that and change that and just think, no, Richards is fine. I think, so it's that kind of thing. So I think Richards will probably go in. I should think. Senesi, Rodon is probably in. I mean, unless I want to go super big, because if this logic is correct, that actually going scrimping and saving at the back isn't the way to go, maybe I should upgrade Rodon as well. But Rodon is here somewhere. He's here as well, and his like value metric is really high too. And this value metric, Anderson's up there as well. One of the things I always think with my team is like, I always imagine you've got 15 players and each player is a collection of 0.1 mils. And you've got like 1,000 0.1 mils to spend. And I think of every 0.1 mil as like an engine. And you want your whole engine to be running as hot as possible. And you want, it's that value metric of like, if you've got a very cheap player who's getting you loads of points, that means that little every 0.1 of that player is running really hot. And so I always like this metric of value, which is, you know, it's still not a perfect metric, but it's one of the closest I've got. I just like it. So Senesi, just for his value, is running really hot. He's getting a lot of points for not much money. Same with Richards. And so I kind of feel like, well, Rodon, because the value metric's there, he's probably worth putting in. Maybe, even though he's lower down the list for predicted points. So he'll probably go in, but there's as I say, I'm not final with all my thoughts yet. Anderson's up there. Lacroix is still up there. But at the moment, I'm kind of avoiding double any defence just because I like to be able to rotate if I want to. I don't want to be clobbered on a hard fixture. So I don't know. I haven't really entertained that. Van Dijk is at the top here, but he's actually got relatively low value for money. So he could be one that, you know, I switch to an Anderson. He's one that I might downgrade to an Anderson. And Tarkowski's pretty good value for money and good points as well. So I don't know what I'm doing there. Yeah, I've got to figure that one out. It's probably going to be Rodon, Senesi, a 4.5, probably Richards, and then the other two. But I've also just started thinking about fixtures as well, because you got to think about fixtures and bench boost and all this kind of business. And I may go for somebody like Romero, because Tottenham actually have good fixtures. And I may just go for Romero rather than Anderson just to start off with, because Anderson's got, I mean, Villa's not bad, but then Bournemouth, Arsenal, Newcastle could be tricky. And then maybe jump on Anderson in 10 instead. Go with the Romero punt. I'm just playing around with these ideas at the moment. Romero's doing all right for DEFCONs. I think he's 36%, so it's not amazing, 8.6, but that's not bad. And I just wonder whether we might see the Tottenham defenders start to do better for DEFCONs because they're under Frank. And we might see kind of Brentford kind of numbers trickling in the same way that the Nottingham Forest defenders have started kind of moving to a different style. They've lost their DEFCONs. Probably going to lose them further under Ange, maybe. So, I don't know, it's a little punt. Maybe Romero might increase his DEFCONs. And he's all right, I think, model-wise. See if I can find him. Down there a little bit lower. His start rates... I've got his start rate at 93, but that's probably not right. He's probably going to start every game. 98 points, not that many, but that might be based. I've still got 50% of last season's data affecting this. So he might be better if I just use this season's data. Should we try that quick? I don't want to mess things up too much. If we just use 100% XGI data for this season. If I don't mess around with it too much. He's on 115 now. He'd still probably be fairly low in the list, I think. So I'm not sure it'll make a massive difference. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. But Romero, I might do something like that. Let's go to the keepers, though, because it's... I don't really know. Just finishing the defender conversation, it's like... Van Dijk, Tarkowski, Lacroix, Senesi, value for money, Senesi, Richards, maybe Anderson. It's these kind of picks. I mean, Diakarte's there. I don't think he's on about 30% for DEFCONs as well, but he's cheaper. He's probably fine. Agbadu's there, but I've heard some talk of him not being very good at the moment, so he might lose his place. I don't know. Yeah, they're the picks. East Eve. There's those Sunderland players as well, isn't there? Alderete and Mukiele, who I don't know enough about. Mukiele's right at the top here, doing very well for DEFCONs. So he could be very interesting, but if he keeps his place, could be Ballard coming back. Alderete's up there as well. Pretty good. So, anyway, I'll leave that for now. Goalies, goalkeepers... Let's have a look at this. So, again, this isn't very good for visual purposes, but this is just me trying to figure out this question of who to go for in goal. Points-wise, Raya is probably the best. I think Raya comes out top just in pure points-wise, but in terms of value, I mean, Petrovic is probably the best value there. Whether I trust these numbers or not, though. Let's have a look at this. So these are all the keepers that are just non-options. Some of these ones in green. If I was going to go for Dubravka and a 4.0, these are just some keepers I might go for. Did I see some people going for Darlow? Is he 4.0? Yeah, maybe Darlow actually as well. 4.0, he might be an option. What to say about this? This is saves per 90 last season, saves per 90 this season. That's the bonus per 90 last season and this season, and that's the BPS per 90 last season and this season. And that's the XGC last season and this season, and that's the clean sheets last season and this season. So that's a lot of information. Raya is doing a bit better saves-wise last season to this season. He's doing better, a little bit better on bonus, a little bit better on BPS as well. They're doing better in XGC. That's down is good. So Arsenal just look really good. And I think they'll get loads of clean sheets, and they look even better this season. They've strengthened. I think there's every chance they've got great fixtures. Raya looks great. Your keeper, you know, it's not always just about clean sheets, so it's about saves and bonus points as well. But Raya certainly looks good. And I think I'll probably go for him. It's just that question of like, do you want to save so that you can put some more money in attack? That's the real question. Because if I decide that I'm not, if I decide that I'm just going to keeping my money in the defence and the keepers, then I'll just go Raya. He just looks great, feels nice, feels complete and whole and new shiny toy, and yeah, feels good, feels safe. But if you wanted to go for somebody else, some people going for Donnarumma, seems fine. I just don't like touching not Man City. Even Donnarumma, well, I think he's probably fine. I don't know enough about him. It's Man City. I just wouldn't go for Donnarumma if you can go for Raya, is my thinking. Unless you want to get triple Arsenal in attack or something on defence. So who else we got then? We got the 5 mils. Bob Sanchez is not an option anymore, is he? He's going to be rotated. Pope is probably the best. Less saves this season, but more bonus and more BPS so far this season. They're doing really good defensively this season. And good clean sheets this season. The only thing that put me off Pope was their squad's a bit thinner than Arsenal's, and I just thought when the Champions League starts and stuff, they might be more inclined to crumble more than Arsenal. But then, they had Europe last season, unless I'm mistaken. Did they or didn't they? Because they got to 1.2. I should check that. In fact, I'm just going to check that 1 sec. I'm going to do it now. No, they didn't. They didn't have Europe. There it is. They didn't qualify for any European competition, apparently, last season. So, yeah, so that might be the case. That even though they got to 1.2 XGC last season, once Champions League starts, they might be more inclined to crumble a little bit. So that just put me off Pope a little bit. Out of all the 5s, he's probably still the best, though. I'm not sure you're going for any of the others. Then the 4.5s, Petrovic looks good. The problem with Petrovic is he blocks you off free Bournemouth, and at the moment, I've got Senesi and Semenyo almost locks. But then I also like Diakate, I like Tyler Adams, and I like Evan Ilson. Well, I don't like Evan Ilson, that's not true, but he's a possibility that I don't want to close the door to. That is the main problem with Petrovic. Yeah, especially with Diakate as well. Tyler Adams, possibly. It's just I just don't want to close that door if I don't have to. Roofs is pretty good for Sunderland. Don't know much about him. It'd be a bit of a punt on Sunderland. They're doing well XGC wise so far this season, 1.04. But ignore that. His saves per 90 is good. Bonus is pretty good. And BPS is pretty good this season so far. He could be good. Value metric is not bad, not great, but not bad. So anyway, yeah, he's a possible, but I don't know. I don't think I want a Sunderland keeper. I feel like if I'm going to go for a 4.5, I feel like I may as well just go for Dubravka. Just go all the way down to Dubravka and just play him, because his saves per 90 is like the highest of everyone's. It's equal to Vicario per 90, really high. He hasn't had any bonus yet, which I'm not sure if there's a reason for that. BPS is fine, average. But he's getting a lot of saves so far. And so, Burnley had Trafford that they sold to Man City, and he had a super season. Maybe there's something about the way Burnley play that asks a lot of their keepers, and I don't know. I think Dubravka could be fine, but then it's Burnley, and they've got the worst XGC in the league so far this season, so you're not going to get many clean sheets. They've only had 1 so far. So it's a risk, but that is one way you could save. So I think it's basically Raya, Donnarumma if you fancy it, but I just wouldn't. I just go for Raya instead. Maybe Pope out of the 5s. Petrovic if you don't mind the Bournemouth, losing out on Bournemouth spots. But if you want to go really cheap and really brave, just go down to Dubravka and play Dubravka in a 4.0. Maybe Darlow. Kinski might go down a 3.9. Although I wouldn't save on 0.1 at the expense of going for a keeper who might actually play. Pick the keeper who's most likely to get some minutes, I would say. Because I'd made that mistake last season. I tried to save on 0.1 or something. And I don't think it was worth it, because you should, try and pick a keeper who's actually likely to get you some potential minutes. Probably Darlow. Anyway. So Raya in goal, probably. Then you've got, I mean, Pedro, I put Pedro in last time because without really thinking, I just whacked him in. And then the more I've thought about it, the more there's just not that many forwards to choose from that are any good. Evan Nilsson, Mateta, you go down to Thiago, Muniz. It's not that many picks, and I'm seeing the value of if you use your bench boost already, that's probably good because you could have just put a dead spot there, just gone to like a 4.5 non-playing forward and just left him third on your bench and not worried about it. Potentially, although I'm not sure I would have done that even if I'd used my bench boost. I still like to have a deep bench if I can have it. At the moment, though, I think it's Pedro. I haven't had a super deep look at it. Haven't had a super deep look at it. At the moment, it's Pedro, though. And then you've got these three spots. Now, again, depending on how cheap I go in these three defender spots, the three midfielder spots, there might be one that I can upgrade. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have Xhaka because it seems likely to me that I'm going to have one of these spots will be a 5 mil spot. I won't go down to a 4.5 Josh King. I don't trust that enough. I don't think, but I'll have at least one 5 mil spot that I can put on the bench. And out of all the 5 mil mids, I prefer Xhaka. I like Xhaka. I think he's got... hang on, let's have a look at this. I started kind of having another look at the players here. This is like a whole collection of players I was looking at between that range of about 5 to 7 mil. Not very presentable. Where is Xhaka? He's there. He's got... Where's his DEFCON rate? So his DEFCON rate, he's only got this... He's new to the league. He's on about 44%, so that's pretty good. He's also got a bit of attacking threat about him, 0.17, which is all right for a 5 mil defender. He's 2 assists already. I think he's had 2 DEFCONs already as well. I like him. And compared to the other 5s, I mean, Stack, some people are going for Stack. He's got about the same amount of XGI as Xhaka at the moment. Last season... No, that's his last season from the league he came from. That's currently this season. Stack, so he's on 0.3 this season, so that is better. But he's got no DEFCON, really. Only 15% DEFCON. So that's not that high. And one sec. Let me just pause. Sorry, I'll just put these in price order. So the 5 mils down here, here's all the 5 mils. Xhaka is there. I just like him. Stack just doesn't have that many DEFCONs. Cullen has got Florentino possibly competing for minutes now, so I'm not sure. He got subbed off early as well the other day. And if you're going to go for a DEFCON player, they've got to play 90 minutes every game, like vital. Otherwise, it loses the DEFCONs. So I can't pick either of them yet. Some people looking at Ghana, good DEFCONs. He looks as good as Xhaka, but I don't know enough about him. I don't know, so I don't think I want to go there because I feel like last season he wasn't. I haven't got his minutes here, have I? Last season, well, he's on 88%, so maybe last season there must have been some reason why he wasn't starting every game. Tyler Adams looks good. The only thing about him is he has an injury record, and also he's got no XGI, no attacking threat. He's got a slightly better DEFCON rate, but no attacking threat at all. So I'd rather have a Xhaka who's got the pretty good DEFCON rate, and maybe you know he's got like a screamer in him at some point. Adam Wharton is... I don't know enough about his numbers, actually. I should probably look into him last season, see what he got last season. That's not how you spell his name. Holy moly. Have I not... Oh, that's it. Hang on. There he is. Wharton, he got 40% last season. So that's good. So that's why he's averaging... What have I got him at? 22%. So he got 40% last season. He just hasn't been doing it this season, but there's every chance he gets back up to 40%. And his XGI is really good there. Last season, 0.23. So he actually looks good. Yeah, I'll still look at this there. I've got it there anyway. he could be good, but then I think has he got injuries he's coming back from? Don't know. Put a pin in him. Could be worth a bit of research on him, but he could be good. Lukic for Fulham, not that high defcons. Pretty good XGI this season, but wasn't good last season. Probably not him. And then there's Dewsbury Hall, who's got like no defcons. Bad start rate last season, I think, but presumably he's nailed now, hopefully. But he's got pretty good XGI. One of the things I did was this little column here. I made like a little mini points prediction just using defcons, XG, XA, and appearance points. So there are other ways to get points, like clean sheets, yellow cards. You can lose points from bonus points. I just discounted all of that and just made a little mini points prediction just using those. And you can kind of see where the points are going to come from. So out of the 5 mils, I mean, they're all pretty even, basically. Stack's there. Stack is actually above Xhaka, interestingly. I think the reason I'm going for Xhaka, though, is just because I like him. I just got the vibes with him. I just want to put Xhaka in. Haven't seen many other people go for him, so. But one of the reasons I wanted to show this was because if you go to Reinders and Caicedo, that was one I was looking at, where they're both the same price, 5.6. I think last I checked, one of them might have moved. Reinders has got the higher XGI, but Caicedo's got way higher defcons. And when you add it up just using those metrics, Caicedo comes out higher because he's got this like 1.32 defcons per game. He's almost just 65% of 2 points a game. And then a 0.4 for XG, 0.06. Not as much XGI as Reinders, but the defcon just is so much more than Reinders that he actually comes out higher. So given that he's just way more nailed for minutes and stuff, it makes me kind of think, well, maybe Caicedo's the pick. In terms of my model just has him right. Caicedo's only slightly higher. So yeah, there might be some other points, fixtures, other things coming in there. But yeah, for the same price though, it makes me think I want to go for Caicedo. But then Reinders, there's this feeling of like, well, could he explode those numbers? He's got like a really high ceiling, Reinders. Low floor, a bit risky, but he's got a really high ceiling and he could go way above those numbers potentially. So there is that question of, do you want to have a bit of fun, go for Reinders, or do you want to go for Caicedo? You could go for both, possible. The moment I'm slightly leaning towards Caicedo. Reinders is a pick. I think I need to readjust my thoughts. Originally, I just thought he's Man City. I don't want to go anywhere near him. He's a new player. And let me just show you this one sec. This was something I looked at a couple of seasons ago. I was looking at the rotation of Man City in this is 2022, 23 and 21, 22 under Pep. This is like game week 1 to 38, and these are all the players. This is black is when they played, blue is when they just didn't play, they didn't start. And it's just like this patchwork quilt of like hardly anybody gets a full long run of games. Haaland did. Some of these might have just been injuries. So Haaland was pretty nailed. KDB fairly nailed, although even he kind of dropped out every now and then. Might have been injuries. But one of the things as well, like even all of these really good players, often what you'd find is you get a player who has like literally a good solid run where you're thinking, and you could be very lulled into thinking this guy's nailed, and then suddenly he just misses out, and suddenly he's off and on for a bit. Bernardo Silva seems to have some good runs sometimes, but then even he'd miss out. So this is just what makes me really wary about Man City and Pep. You can be lulled into this sense of like this player's nailed. I would need to know who Reinders' competition is. I need to kind of have a look at some people that know a bit more than me about it and see if Reinders really is as nailed. Because when people say, oh yeah, he's definitely nailed, I just don't trust people at all. Like people say stuff like this all the time, oh, he's definitely nailed. And I'm like, I don't really, I don't know. I have a problem with trust. So it just goes in one ear and out the other. So I need to know for sure that he is nailed. I don't know if he is or not. So he might be worth the pump. Yeah, he's a bit scary though, Reinders, because he's right next to Haaland all the time. In this Man City team, he's played 5 90s, isn't he? 5 90s in a row, so... And I'm hearing good things about him. So I may have to change my perception on him. Anyway, the rest of them... yeah, Dewsbury Hall looks good. I just need to make sure he's nailed. I think he probably is. I guess he's new to that team. We don't know for sure. But he probably is. And Dye and Grealish as well. I presume they're the 3 in Everton. Most people going for Ndai. Ndai's just a player who I just don't have the vibes with. I don't know much about from last season. 94% start. That must be there for some reason. Like maybe he missed, pardon me, the odd game last season. But he does do the DEFCONs well, and he is quite high up here. Yeah, he gets a little bit of DEFCONs. He's got good XGI data. He does look good. Grealish looks pretty good as well. He's a bit more expensive, but... so, yeah, they look good, the Everton boys. Kudos, maybe. Doesn't do the DEFCONs. Good XGI data. Not much XG, more XA, but, like, I think he's fine-ish. Kudos, maybe. I'm not really feeling excited about him. The Brighton lads, I think, might end up being a punt too far, because even though they do seem kind of nailed and they look good, especially Minter looks pretty good, there's this feeling of like you just never know whether they might get dropped in one of the games. So maybe with a bit more research I might have a punt on a Brighton mid, but I'm not sure about them yet. Paqueta was one that I thought his DEFCON was actually a bit lower than I was expecting. It's only 20%. I mean, Ndai's is higher than that. So Paqueta is one that I thought, well, he is on pens. And in this, he comes out quite high here in this little points prediction thing here. So I guess he's all right. I think I've gone off him a bit. Yeah, I think that's about it. Jaden Anthony's pretty good, but will he keep those numbers up? I don't know. Don't know. This guy here is Jeremy Pinto. He's Jeremy Pino. He's only played like 2 games, so his numbers probably a bit skewed. But in those games, in the few minutes he played, he got really good numbers. So it might be worth a look at when he comes back. He is expected back for some minutes next game week. So, yeah, anyway, out of all of those, out of the 5 mils, I like Xhaka. Out of the others, I kind of like Caicedo, even though he's not the highest here. So I should probably be looking at Jaden Anthony. It's Elliot Anderson, but I just don't trust his minutes either in that Nottingham Forest team, but maybe I should. Minter could be worth a punt. Paqueta's up there. Pino when he's back. Or Ndai or Grealish. I mean, it's probably more likely I'll go with one of these two, Ndai or Grealish. And I guess Ndai is the one topping most people's lists, and he might be the one. Especially if he's on pens as well. I just don't know enough about him. Maybe I need a bit more reassurance on him. So they're the mids. That's the team. Xhaka, I don't know. Caicedo, and is that what it's going to be? Something like that. Caicedo and Ndai. I mean, it's very template. That is like super maybe not these two. Most people have like Reinders and Stack or something like that. Raya in goal. I'm probably going to have Tark. Problem with not having Tark is I just feel like if he gets any points, decent points return, I'm going to feel bad about it. Like, because I had him from the start, I'm going to feel like almost sad that I got rid of him. I feel like I like him. I feel like he belongs in my team. And then I got enough for a 6.1. Got enough for Virgil if I did something like that. So it's probably going to be something like that. But as I say, I need to think of the fixtures as well. Spurs, I may go for a Romero first and then switch to an Anderson. Something like that if I got the money. Yeah, don't know. I was just playing around. I was trying to create a rotation calculator, and it didn't work. So that's what I spent all morning doing. Nothing happened. Bench boost. Quick word on bench boost. My thinking just. I've been trying to figure out when the best time to bench boost is. One way I thought about, maybe an easier way to think about it, is to think which teams would put you off bench boosting, and it's generally when your players play against Arsenal, City, and Liverpool. So if you just kind of scroll down and think, well, when are Arsenal, City, and Liverpool playing teams from whom I don't have any players from, and like I've got not game week 6, it can't be anyway, but game week 7, Brentford, West Ham, I don't have any players from, and then Chelsea would be Caicedo, but that's a good fixture for him if I want defcons. So you always have to kind of flip it with your defensive midfielders. Sometimes the harder fixtures are actually the better fixtures anyway. So 7's on the table potentially. Problem with 7 though, you've got Everton, Palace, and Fulham. This little patch here: Everton, Palace, Fulham, and Leeds. Fulham got Bournemouth in 7. I thought it was harder than that. But no, maybe 7's not bad. Bournemouth's not great though. Could have sworn somebody had Man City. Maybe it's this one then. So 8, Everton have Man City and Fulham have Arsenal, and Palace have Bournemouth. So 8's kind of off the table a little bit. When I looked at it, I think it's 9's not bad. I can't remember, one of these 10 maybe. One of these is all right. Is it the Burnley keeper? So 11 maybe isn't too bad. Basically, one of the things I noticed was that from 13 to 17, there's no good bench boosts. So if you're going to get a bench boost in, you've either got to get it in before about 11 or 12, I think, or you wait till 18. And 18 actually looks like the perfect bench boost, where all of my players have good fixtures: Everton, Burnley, Fulham, West Ham. Leeds have got Sunderland. Man City are playing Nottingham Forest. I don't have any of their players. Liverpool playing Wolves. I don't have any of their players. If I haven't got any Brighton, then Arsenal play Brighton. That's pretty nice. Bournemouth play Brentford. All of my players, Dubravka would have Everton. It would be the perfect bench boost. And then on top of that, if you look at the overview, game week 18, they all have a nice week off because it's the Boxing Day fixtures, or at least it's going to be the 27th. That'll be the day after Boxing Day. It's those fixtures. So they'll all have a nice week off, so there's nothing to kind of cause any problems, theoretically. But it's just, you know what's going to happen there, don't you? It's very, very risky to wait until game week 18, even though it's a really, like, on paper, kind of perfect time to bench boost. You're going to get injuries on the way from now until then. I don't really want to get there and then have to spend transfers just for the sake of a bench boost. But at the same time, there is a part of me that just wants to delay it so I don't have to think about it. And then, so maybe it's an excuse to just delay it, and then I'll just see if I can get lucky in 18. Because you never know, you might get doubles yet. A word on the doubles as well. Crystal Palace got drawn against Liverpool away in the EFL Cup. So that means that the double game week is probably unlikely to happen. Basically, Palace have to beat Liverpool or the double game week is very unlikely. As in, the only chance you'd have a double game week is if you have some other random postponement. So it's still a possibility. If Crystal Palace beat Liverpool, Liverpool might put out a weakened team in that game. It's between game weeks 9 and 10. Liverpool will have Europe, but then so will Palace. So it'll be right in the middle of there. Yeah, it's not looking good. So that's a shame. Crystal Palace, they could beat Liverpool. If they beat them, double game week is still on. It makes me think that I should probably be trying to get rid of bench boost sooner rather than later, just because there was a half thought in my mind that I could use it for a double game week, but probably better to get it out of the way, unless I want to wait for 18. I still feel like I might just keep triple captain though. Triple captain because there are probably good fixtures for a lot of these clubs. Man City, we've got all this sea of green here from like 13 to 19 here. Loads of green for Liverpool, Man City. there'll be some good games for Arsenal. I just feel with the triple captain, I may as well wait because I don't really mind putting it on anybody, just going for a punt, even a Gyökeres or whoever's looking good. So I'll just wait just in case it's a double game week. Free hit, though, I probably need to start thinking about a bit more because I was going to save that for a blank. Where are we? Game week 6. I'll probably wait. Until the results of that. And if it's final and Crystal Palace, because then we'll know. So I'll probably wait with triple captain and free hit to just see what happens with that. And then after that, I'll just use it wherever. And then the bench boost. I'm probably going to wait with the bench boost as well, just because I'm being indecisive. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's all my thoughts. I've got to go. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. But I want to do more thinking about rotation and fixtures. I want to have a little look. I want to see if I can maybe plan some transfers in to actually go for teams that have better fixtures now, like maybe Tottenham, and then just plan a transfer in for somebody else because like Fulham don't have the best fixtures. Palace either, Liverpool and Arsenal in these next 4 on Bournemouth. Maybe I could pencil some transfers in. So I've got to think of stuff like that. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. Yeah, sorry, bit of a rushed, hazy one today, but that will do. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye-bye.